My father's family name was Pirrip, and I was christened Philip. My infant tongue could make nothing more of both names than Pip, so that is what I called myself, and how I came to be known. I had lost both my parents as a baby, and I was brought up by my sister, who had married the local blacksmith, Joe Gargery. All I knew of my parents was their tombstone in the local churchyard. When I went to the churchyard to visit my parents' graves and those of my 5 little brothers who were also buried there, all I knew was that the dark, flat, empty land beyond was the marshes, the low line further down was the river, and the distant place from which the wind was rushing was the sea. My first most vivid memory is of a raw afternoon towards evening. I was in the churchyard. It was getting dark, and little Pip was growing afraid and beginning to cry.
"Hold your noise,"
cried a terrible voice.
"Keep still, you little devil, or I'll cut your throat."
And a fearful man with a great iron on his leg and an old piece of cloth tied round his head jumped up from among the graves. He seized me by the chin.
"Tell me your name, quick."
"Pip, sir."
"Once more,"
said the man.
"Speak out."
"Pip. Pip, sir."
"Show me where you live,"
said the man.
"Point out the place."
I pointed to where our village lay. The man looked at me for a moment, then turned me upside down and emptied my pockets. There was nothing in them but a piece of bread, which he began to eat hungrily.
"Where are your father and mother?"
said the man, talking as he ate. When I pointed out to him where they were buried, he asked me who I lived with. I told him with my sister, wife of Joe Gargery, the blacksmith. On hearing the word blacksmith, he looked down at his leg. Then he took me by both arms and ordered me to bring him, early the next morning, at the old gun placements, a metal file and some food, or he would cut my heart out. And I was not to say a word about it. I promised to bring him the file and what bits of food I could. Then I set my face towards home and made the best use of my legs. My sister, Mrs. Joe Gargery, was more than 20 years older than I, tall, bony, and plain-looking. She ruled both her husband and me with a heavy hand. Joe was a calm, good-natured, foolish, dear fellow. When I ran home from the churchyard, Joe's forge, which was joined to our house, was shut up, and Joe was sitting alone in the kitchen.